All right. Episode 17, week 17 is officially here. Wild. Still just blown away every single time. Another week has gone by. This is a 6-month series where I'm diving into all the things that building my business is now that I've left my day job. Well, I guess not now, but 17 weeks ago, having left my 9 to 5 and officially made the declaration, okay, we're going all in into building the businesses, into building Empowered by Women, into building Book of Bijou, into building my speaker resume and potentially writing a book, not potentially writing a book, actually writing a book, doing all of the things so that I can continue being self-employed. Obviously, this podcast series, as I have been mentioning in the past couple of episodes, has been very interesting because the original thought was that it was going to be such a great way to come back to all the things that I worked on and see how much transpires in these 6 months. So I'm diving into the strategies, the systems I'm putting into place, the mindset that I'm cultivating, all of that good stuff. But it's also proven to be a reminder of how much time has passed and how much time I quote unquote have left. Because really, my 6-month series, that was kind of like also 6 months of a buffer period of let's see how much momentum we can build in terms of financial momentum, right? Because at the end of the day, I am still a mother of 3 children. We still have this beautiful home that we need to keep paying for. We still need to put food on the table. We got their cheer to pay for. We got things to pay for. Okay. So we're not going to be perpetually living in Delulu land. We really need to make things happen. So you being a part of this podcast today and diving and listening in to all of my episodes, this is giving you a firsthand look of what that looks like, bringing in delusion with strategy and seeing what we can make happen. If you haven't caught the previous episodes, if I do end up having to go back to a 9 to 5, hopefully it'll just be part-time and hopefully I don't have to. I am totally okay with that. So I don't want to perpetuate the narrative that if you have to go back to a day job after leaving your day job to pour into your business full time and then you going back to your day job, I don't want to perpetuate the narrative that that means that you failed, because I do not agree with that at all. And had I originally had it my way, I would have still been working at my day job. Even though honestly, it was definitely like my life was getting to the place of like almost burnout. So I'm glad that it happened when it did. But for those of you that are listening, if you're still in your day job and you're wondering if you should take the leap, think about the financials, obviously, and I would really consider just having your 9 to 5 at least be kind of what is financially fueling your passion in the meantime while you ramp that up, while you ramp up your business, while you build up the financial stability of your business so that you can comfortably leave your day job, as opposed to just operating out of obligation and desperation. I'm not sure if I mentioned that in a previous episode, but that was something that I did feel a couple times here and there. And I read someone had posted that they got to a point where, because they had left their day job, they eventually got to a point where they were no longer operating with intention, but they were operating out of desperation because they felt it. They felt the crunch for money, right? We need money to survive. It's just the fact of life. We need to be able to pay for things. And as I've said in the very, very beginning, I made the decision to leave my day job really adamant that I'm not going to do it knowing that we're immediately like changing our whole life around. We're eating ramen, we're taking the girls out of their extracurriculars, we're no longer paying for daycare. I didn't want to do that. So I'm still very much, I want to build enough revenue so that we can continue our lifestyle. Minor changes, sure. Small adjustments, being a little bit tighter with our budget, sure, that's fine, but no like drastic changes in terms of the lifestyle that the girls and Sammy, I keep saying the girls, but my children can live. So if you are still in your day job, that's definitely something to consider. I won't say don't leave your day job, but definitely look at it in that light of using your day job to fuel your business, your passion project, whatever it is in the meantime until you do feel some kind of comfortability financially to leave and to have that safety net. But if you were kind of like me, where you were backed into a corner or where you were getting close to burnout and you do have some kind of safety net, like maybe it is time for you to take the leap. I'm not going to tell you what to do right now because obviously I don't know who's listening. I don't know your story. I can't give you direct advice. If you want to shoot me a DM, we can definitely voice note. I'll be your cheerleader on the other end of it, but just some things to think about. So we are now at week number 17. So looking back at this past week, one of the recaps that I do want to share is that we had this incredible boat day with some of our members. So we had our first members only event, which is really exciting and something that I'm wanting to do more of because I want to continue bringing value to our community. For now, almost all of our events are open to the public, but then as a member, you get discounts to our events. And that's kind of like the added perk, right? We'll promote you on our website. You can be a part of the different events that we host as a speaker, as a workshop facilitator, whatever that looks like, but you also get event discounts. So now that we're continuing to build and we have had some members that are wanting to get more connected, that are wanting to really have this kind of sense of exclusivity, which gives them a further incentive to join as a member, we're going to be doing that more often. And we're also announcing virtual co-working every month starting next week. So we're going to do that every second Wednesday of the month. So that's something that I'm really excited about because that's going to be opened up to all of our members so that all of our members, not just our exclusive members, can really get connected to each other and support each other. Currently, we have a weekly mastermind calls, mini mastermind calls that are just for exclusive members. And the more we keep sharing about them, there are so many women that are like, how are these women getting on these calls? How do I become a part of that? So we want to be able to extend that invite through these virtual co-working sessions where more women can be a part of it. And there's no real structure. It's kind of just like if you want to have space and create space where you're in the quote unquote room, the virtual room with other women, your pretend coworkers, like you get to be a part of that. And there definitely is something to entrepreneurship and solopreneurship and feeling like you're going through everything alone. That is literally why I created Empowered by Women, because I did not want that to be my story. I did not want to go through business alone. So I do see the value of virtual co-working, and it was an idea that a woman from another community suggested to me that we do. And I was like, really? People want that? And she was like, yeah, they love it. It works really well. We've done it once before, so I'm excited to now have it as kind of just like part of our regular routine. So I'm excited for that. The boat day was so much fun. We actually had the team from Sausalito Boat Rentals reach out to us and invite our community out, which was really amazing. They got this new pedal boat in that I think they've only had for less than a year. So they're trying to bring out more like corporations and teams for bonding and just like a fun day out. And so that was really great to do something a little bit different than what we've done in the past with our networking events, where it was more of like a hands-on workshop or very educational or something very, very business driven. And this was just like a fun day out, a fun girls' day out, but business edition. So we could still have all of those beautiful conversations around business and what we're working on and what we're struggling with, but without the structure. So I loved it. The girls loved it. And I'm excited to now bring my family over to the boat, back over to Sausalito Boat Rentals, because they're inviting us over for a second time to now try their incredible electric Duffy boats. So a shout out to Sausalito Boat Rentals. What I love about their Duffy boats is that you don't need a boat license to be able to drive it, but you do get to drive it. So their crew doesn't come on board with you when you rent out their electric Duffy boats, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm excited. We're going to be going on July 4th. We're going to be going in the evening. So hopefully we can catch some fireworks while we're still out on the water. And to kind of like strategy wise, dive into that a little bit more. Obviously, one of the things that I'm supporting other women with on a deeper level is brand strategy and creative visibility and really leveraging the power of collaboration. And so this was obviously a collaboration between Empowered by Women and Sausalito Boat Rentals. And again, they reached out to me and it was a very casual conversation of like, hey, we'd love to invite your community and your family and friends out on a boat ride. And that was literally in one message. And I said, okay, but we're gonna need to like separate that. Like, I'm not gonna invite my community and my family and friends on one boat ride. Like, that is a little weird. So, yes, we will absolutely do it for the community. We're always looking for fun events and fun opportunities for us to create those genuine connections. But how about you give us a second boat ride so that I can bring my family? Because I think they would love that. I would love to bring the kids on board. And I know like the rest of my family would love that. So I negotiated a second boat ride. And of course, when you do this, you want to think of partnership. How can I support you? It's more give than take. And I think that's something that some people can miss where it's like, what else can you give me? Well, can we do this? Can we do this? But what are you actually offering? So in exchange, I said, it seems like this is something that you're wanting to do more of. I'm happy to connect you with other people in the area that would be interested in also bringing their team on board and bringing you more visibility, right? So that is the way that I was able to reciprocate that support and negotiate a second boat ride. Leading on to my next thing, I just had a beautiful, beautiful call with this woman who is the founder of this media organization out in Vegas. And I am so excited because we had previously worked together. We were laughing about it on the call. We don't remember how we like came into each other's world. We just somehow out of nowhere started working together on a previous event. And so I reached back out to her because she has this kind of like slew of magazines and um, if you're watching, I actually have one of the magazines of hers that I was a part of that I got to be on the cover of, Becoming an Unstoppable Woman, my very first cover feature. Full disclosure, this was a paid feature. Okay. This was the only paid media feature I've ever done. All the other media features that I've been in have been complimentary. They were not pay to play. They were either earned media or some kind of collaboration. So this was my first paid feature, my first media cover, and I'm obsessed with it. Cece of Pink Salt Photos took this photo of me. For those of you that are listening and not watching, on this cover, I'm wearing this pink dress, and I was actually 9 months pregnant when we took this shoot. And obviously, since I was 9 months pregnant, people would assume that that was like a maternity shoot. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's a branding shoot where I just happened to be pregnant. And I was very intentional about that because I'm like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. And that's one of the messages that I love sharing. Like, well, for us as moms, you can get so caught up in the like, oh, if I'm trying to pursue a successful career, that makes me less of a mother, or that means I don't care as much about being a mother, or that I don't prioritize my children. That is absolute BS. Okay. Absolute BS. You can absolutely be successful. You can absolutely have other passions and have this entrepreneur mindset and want to build this big, beautiful empire and also be a really incredible mother. So that was really important to me to be like, hey, I want to do a branding shoot to position myself as an expert, as a professional, whatever it is, and to update my headshots. But I just so happen to be pregnant because me being pregnant doesn't dilute how powerful I am and how I can show up and command a room and do the work that I do and impact the women that I impact. So that was really the message that I wanted to convey with that shoot. So that was the March issue. Check it out, Becoming an Unstoppable Woman. So proud of that feature. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So I reached out to the founder and I was like, hey, I would love to have you as one of our media partners. This is what this looks like. This is how we can support you and reciprocate that support. Again, how we can reciprocate the support, not me just asking her to kind of open up her platforms to us, but this is what you'll get in exchange. And so we had that conversation, and I am just so grateful for all of the women that we bring into this community, because truly, whenever I have conversations like this, there are so many women out there that see what we're building, that see the vision of what Empowered by Women is, see what we're trying to work towards, and want to be a part of it. And it is just so beautiful, and I'm so incredibly grateful. So this episode is going live tomorrow. The newsletter will either be out, have been out today, or will also be going out tomorrow. I don't know if we'll have the announcement ready by then. So if not, you're getting a sneak peek into our newest media partner announcement. But I'm really excited because she is actually opening up a few of her magazines to our members. So our exclusive members will basically be able to select a magazine, select the month that they want to submit for, and it's already going to be a part of their membership. It's not going to be an added cost. So normally they do sell their slots, right? If you want to contribute to an article, you have to pay, but because they're our media partner, they're opening up their magazines to us at no cost so that we can position our members into those spaces and give them the platform to share their expertise, to share their voice, to share their stories, and to really build their own credibility, which is what we're all about. So I am incredibly excited about that. And then what else that conversation led to is them potentially being one of our media partners for a future event, which is really exciting. I still have to kind of narrow down the logistics on that, but I do think whenever you have big events, like having media partners, having just partners in general is always like the way to go, but a media partner especially, you want to be able to bring media into it. You want to bring eyes onto what it is that you're building, because visibility is half the battle. And you want to keep on putting yourself out there and letting people know about you, letting the world know what it is that you're doing so that more people can get involved and be impacted by the work that you're doing, right? Because the more people we can tell, the more people we can support. So excited for that. And the crazy thing is, from this call and from me mentioning like our upcoming summit, our upcoming wellness event, I got an invite to be a part of her summit that's happening in November and to be one of the keynoters, which is like confetti everywhere, like amazing that I just got that invite out of nowhere. That was absolutely like not what this call was going to be about at all. I didn't even realize she was having a summit of her own. It is the week before our summit, which is a little tricky, and it's not local. So I have to figure out the logistics of that. But I am very interested. You guys probably already know, because I've shared this in one of the previous episodes, that I'm definitely open to doing one complimentary speaking engagement a month to just build my speaker resume and to really establish myself as a professional speaker. I think that's part of the game when it comes to building to the point where you are a regularly paid and booked speaker. So that is part of my strategy in that aspect. So if I can make this work, and if I can bring the family along, or maybe even not, maybe I'll just like fly out there for a day or two, like we will totally make that happen. So now I have a summit in September, October, and November that I'll be speaking at, and then I'm so excited for. Sticking with the speaking, I did also get a new lead in from this platform called Gig Salad. And if you guys haven't heard of Gig Salad, it's basically if you're any kind of talent, speaker, artist, potentially photographers, I don't really know, I'm not super familiar with the platform. You can put your profile on there, like what is it you usually speak about, like who do you speak to, and then people, event organizers, decision makers, they can go on there and basically request information from you, like request a quote, whatever, get your information so they could potentially book you. So I did get a lead in today. I responded pretty quickly because that's the strategies that I've learned from other speakers, like try to get on a call as soon as possible so that you could just be top of mind and they can see how you work and that you're kind of on top of your game and all of that. So I did respond pretty quickly, but I haven't heard back yet. So hopefully that turns into something. And it's local and it's paid. So obviously would love that. we'll see where that goes. Hopefully I have a fun update for you in the next episode. Okay. Moving on. Now let's talk about coaching, and then we're going to go back to AI since, as you know, those past couple of episodes, I've been diving into AI and like we're still in the thick of it. So let's talk coaching really quick. So I have not really built up my coaching business that much. And I really attribute that to like I haven't had the capacity. But again, recognizing how much time, quote unquote, I have left. I know I am a very literal person, so I don't like saying that without adding a disclaimer of like, but it's not really the time I have left. I know I have an added buffer. Anyways, fun fact, I'm a very literal person, so I can't just like say things without, without all the details. But now that I have as much time as I have left in this 6 months to make things happen, I'm like, okay, I really need to ramp up my coaching because that is going to be more lucrative than the membership if I bring in a certain amount of clients, right? So it's been interesting trying to simultaneously build out all of these businesses. Would I recommend it to anyone that's listening the way that I've been doing things? Absolutely not. I do feel like I'm really good at juggling a handful of things. I move quick. I make decisions very quickly, which is why I think it's been okay and doable for me. But I don't think it would be the best option for a lot of people to do things the way that I'm doing things. So I'm going to throw that in there. I want to build the community more and more. Yes. But I also want to focus on refining the value that we offer our current members before I'm really, really pushing out scaling the membership. So that has kind of been like a little bit of a slow scale for the membership. So with that in mind, I really want to build out my coaching business a little bit faster and a little bit bigger because that will be more lucrative quickly. So what I did, I haven't really been sharing it that much. And then yesterday I was like, okay, now that I'm kind of at the tail end of my original clients, I need to basically re-up and get a few more clients. My goal is to get 5 more clients by the end of the month. So I sent out just a quick message to 10 different women that I could see myself working with. I sent out either via email or an IG DM saying like, "Hey girl, this is what I'm offering, and I just opened up 5 spots. And you were one of the first people that I thought of. So I wanted to make sure that I sent this your way. If you're still interested, if you're at all interested, I'm happy to send over more information." So I didn't just send over like, here's the offer, here's how much it is. Like, do you want to book me? It was just like a quick casual ask, like, is this something you're interested in? Because I can happily send over more information. So I sent that over to 10 people. I did get a couple of responses back so far, saying like they've already done recent investments, so they don't have the capacity to invest, which I completely understand. And I'm totally like good with that. And what I'm doing now with them is basically saying, if you have any referrals, if you think anyone would be a good fit in the meantime, I would love an introduction and I'm happy to give you a referral fee. So really leveraging affiliates is something that I am also leaning into. I've been doing that already with our membership, with our community. All of our speaker incubator gals, they have affiliate links. Our team members have affiliate links. So anyone that's helping to build out the community, they have an incentive to do so, a monetary incentive to do so, and they get to continue supporting more women. So that's really amazing. But now I'm also taking that affiliate strategy and then implementing it into my coaching because I know that the people that know me will speak highly of me and will understand what it is that I offer. So they are going to be the best people out there that are sharing my offer on my behalf, right? That are really hyping me up and that can connect me with the people that are really aligned with me and my offer. So that's what I'm doing so far. It was originally just going to be the 10 people, but I'm trying to be realistic in the sense that, okay, let's say that 20% of my outreach is going to convert. I want to keep that in mind, and I want at least five new clients by the end of the month. So I can't just reach out to 10 people. So I'm going to take it day by day. I'm going to reach out to 10 more today, especially now that I've gotten some feedback already yesterday from a couple of the gals, saying that they don't have the capacity to invest right now. And then I'm going to do another 10 today and then another 10 potentially tomorrow. So we can keep on building until we get those 5 clients, because that's something that I really, really want to nail down this month. All right. No other updates with speaking in terms of the book. I've probably already said this. It's definitely been on the back burner. It's still something that I want to do, but it doesn't make sense to prioritize that right now, because that's more of like a supplemental tool as opposed to one of what will be one of my main streams of revenue. So that's on the back burner. I don't want to get too distracted with that. And then when I do work on it, I want to be able to like really pour fully into it. So that'll happen. Another amazing thing. Now, I think I already spoke about that in the last episode, where we're going to be expanding our events in LA, which is really exciting. So now let's turn the conversation to AI. And for all my girlies out there that are still anti-AI, I get it. I was you. Now that I've dove headfirst into this world of AI, and I'm not talking about surface level ChatGPT, okay? For those of you that are like, I use AI like crazy, I'm always with ChatGPT. If you are just feeding it prompts and asking for it to like push out social media content, push out copy for your newsletter for LinkedIn, that is like surface level AI, okay? Surface level AI. And for the people that are anti-AI and saying like that's cheating, blah, 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 like I want to be creative, I still want to like bring the human touch to it. You can still do that with AI. You just have to learn how to use it. And you really have to look at it as like an assistant that you can train. Like when I'm comparing my VA to ChatGPT, like I will still need my VA. I'm not getting rid of my VA. There's still some things that ChatGPT cannot do and that automation cannot do, so I'm not going to get rid of her. But you want to treat it like that, right? Like I asked my VA to create copy for me for our events, for our social media posts. And then I ask her, can you tweak this? I don't really like the wording of this. That sounds kind of weird. Like, can you change that? You can do all the same things in ChatGPT. So don't just take the first thing that it gives to you and say, perfect, got it, and then post it, because people can tell when you use ChatGPT. So the things that I've been learning have honestly been like mind-blowing and amazing, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. So I took that workshop that I told you guys about. And again, I said something along the lines of, I was a little bit disappointed because I really wanted it to be able to send out emails on my behalf and for me to not have to do too much. But it seems like after that workshop, I would still have to go in on a daily basis or whatever, prompt it to give me all these contacts, to pull this up, to pull this up, to pull this up. Okay, draft up the email, let me review it. Okay, go ahead and send it. And then if anyone responds to me, then I will still have to go and do things about that response. And I was like, okay, I love that it can send emails, but that also sounds like it still requires a lot out of me that I wasn't expecting it to do. Like I want an automated system. I want you to bring me the leads that are already warmed up and ready to book, and I want to hop on the call and close the deal, because that is where my superpower is. And I know that, especially after this call that I just had with our new media partner that we're going to be announcing soon. Like, I am so good at what I do when I can hop on a call and chat with these people and build these collaborations and partnerships. Like, I have full confidence in that. So I am fully confident with speaking as well. You know what? I take that back. We're going to dive into that a little bit more. But I want automation to be able to do that for me, to be able to find the leads, send the emails, and if they ask for this or that, like send the follow-up email, And only when it comes to like hopping on the call, like I will obviously be the one to do that. But I want AI and automation to do all the stuff beforehand and get them on my calendar. So obviously, since I was not fully satisfied with the webinar, my mouth is getting really dry again. You would think I would learn from all the past podcast episodes where my mouth gets really dry that I should have my tea ready. And I still do not do that. But anyways, since I was not fully satisfied by the webinar, of course I started to do some digging. And honestly, I probably could have learned all the stuff that I learned in the webinar from ChatGPT itself and from all these free tutorials online. So that's something that I'm also going to be looking at in the future. Anytime I have even the slightest inclination to purchase some kind of course, I'm going to go ahead and do my research and see what's available for free first, because there's a lot of free information out there. So as I was diving into these tutorials, it like blew open the can of AI worms for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. The possibilities really are endless. And I actually can get it to do a lot of the work for me without me having to intervene and do any manual labor. So the interesting thing that I did was I actually went into ChatGPT and I said, and this is after I've kind of like learned how to talk to it, I prompted it very, very specifically. I said, you are going to be a very highly intelligent PR agent for me as a professional speaker. I want you to, matter of fact, I actually kind of want to pull it up to see exactly what I said. Because this is how you want to talk to ChatGPT. You want to be like very, very specific, kind of even redundant, so that it does what it needs you to do. So this is what I said. You are a highly intelligent AI expert. Tell me how to best optimize ChatGPT in order to book more paid public speaking engagements. Tell me which platforms and other softwares and tools I can leverage and how they all work together. Make it the simplest, most efficient method possible to do a lot of outreach and to get the most paid gigs with as little human engagement needed to make the systems work. Break it down in easy to follow bullet points and speak to me as if I'm in the 8th grade. If the softwares and tools mentioned are not free, state their price, and if it's necessary for the operational system I want to put in place as a professional speaker. That is literally the prompts that I gave ChatGPT. And it created this system for me. And the coolest thing, like it took a couple of minutes to figure it out, which I actually kind of love that it wasn't just like immediately spit out, because I'm like, okay, you're actually doing your research over there, buddy, which is amazing. So now it broke it down into, let's see, 10 bullet points plus key takeaways of, okay, this is going to be the first step. These are the tools you're going to use. You're going to use ChatGPT and LinkedIn to find your contacts. Then you're going to use a software that auto collects emails and that verifies your emails. Then you're going to put the data all in one place, like Google Sheets. Then you're going to connect this app with this app, which is going to talk to each other so that your contacts get added to your Google Sheet and then gets added into ChatGPT to draft the email, and then it sends the email. And it also did exactly what I said with telling me the price. Do I need it? What are the pros? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, this is amazing. I even really, really love the key break it down to me as if I'm an 8th grader. I took that off of some kind of tutorial video and it broke it down into 8 really, really easy bullet points that I loved. It says, find people, store names, move the data, write the emails, send follow-up, book calls, track money. And then it also tells me like which platform is going to do what. So then I said, using your suggested tools above, calculate the total monthly expense of all necessary platforms. If any, suggest more cost-effective alternatives, but state the pros and cons of using the alternatives versus the original softwares you suggested. Specifically, tell me why I can or can't use Gmail over a cold email platform, Google Calendar over Calendly, and also remove the LinkedIn Sales Navigator and Apollo IO, and instead use ChatGPT to find me a list of readily available emails for speaker coordinators. And then again, it gave me like the must-have stack and how much that would cost, and then what the stack would look like with the cheaper swaps and how much that would cost. And it's about the must-haves is about $124 a month. And I'm like, okay, I don't really like the idea of investing more money, but if this does what it says it does, where I can just at the beginning of each week use ChatGPT to get me a bunch of emails, and then I'll verify it through one of the other platforms, and then I'll just throw that into a Google Sheet. And then from there, the rest of the week, you will send out the emails, send up the follow-ups, and start booking those meetings for me and landing me thousands of dollars worth of paid engagements. Absolutely. I will spend $124 a month for these programs. Okay. And then I like that it also included a quick decision guide for me. So it says like, if your list is under 300 contacts a month, Gmail and Google Calendar works, just accept manual follow-ups. But if you need true autopilot, like stick with these programs, blah, blah, blah. And then from there, because I'm not super tech savvy, I could totally figure it out. But at the same time, like I don't have the time to sit there and tweak and tweak and tweak. The next prompt that I gave it said, okay, I want to start setting up the must-have stack. Can you walk me through setting up the entire process, including all tools mentioned in the must-have stack from start to finish? Break it down step by step with consideration of the most recent software updates across all platforms. Simplify the language for someone who is not tech savvy, aka me. As a reminder, my goal is to easily book paid speaking engagements, including keynotes, panels, workshops, and podcasts, and also in-person and virtual events within the US, preferably California, that focus on one of the following topics: community building, women empowerment, authentic leadership, or brand visibility. And then it broke down a step-by-step of this is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to create your Google Sheet. This is how you're going to prompt ChatGPT to fill in the sheets. This is how you're going to verify your emails in this platform. This is how you're going to connect Zapier. I'm freaking excited. Okay. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, to me, now that I'm really diving into the power of ChatGPT and using it as like a research tool on top of it being like a creative tool, it is incredible because it's saving you so much time. Like, I could go ahead and just Google things and like watch a million YouTube videos of why use this instead of this. But if you can condense your time, like, you don't get an award or any kind of merit for spending more time on something that you don't need to spend more time on. You know what I mean? So I get the creative aspect of it where it's like, morally, don't use ChatGPT to get creative. Yes, especially for artwork. Yeah, I 100% get it. But if you are using it where you're like creating a GPT, you're telling it how to sound like you're teaching it how to use your voice, how to use your tone, what you do or don't like, what's a good response or a bad response, and you're interacting with it as an actual assistant, then it's such an incredible resource without compromising your voice and your creativity and your perspective. And I do think that's like the scary part of it. Simon, I forget his last name. One of our girls, Kate Zeus, sent me this really great YouTube video that Simon was talking about with all things AI. And one of the things that he was saying is like the scariest part is that people are really gonna forget to think for themselves, and they're gonna forget how to be human, and they're gonna forget how to use these soft skills. So if anyone is out there teaching soft skills, I 100% think that's going to be a very high demand thing, something that you could get booked to facilitate workshops for, to be a speaker for in the future. Food for thought. And I 100% agree. But if you're taking a chat GPT and again, doing things where you're still reviewing the work, you're still kind of being mindful of, let's go ahead and tweak this. You're still bringing your own creativity, your own vision, your own insight and perspective and lived experiences into it. Like you are still strengthening your own point of view while now just utilizing this as a resource to, again, condense time to make you more efficient so that you can impact more people by spending the time on the things that matter more so, right? So you can spend time growing and building and impacting as opposed to doing all the little tedious administrative work on the back end. So I am now in the process of building out this system that ChatGPT has broken down for me. There's still a lot of things that I don't know. Like I think I was in Zapier and there are a bunch of like credits. Credits is something that I've been introduced to, and it seems like that's a thing in a lot of these AI platforms. So I'm like, it stopped me at a certain point saying that I like prompted it too many times. And I'm like, okay, do you want me to pay you? Like what? Like, what do you need from me? Because I want to keep going. So I have to figure out that end of it. But if we can get this to work, it really will be game changing. And I want to go back to what I said earlier about like, I am confident if we can get on a call, I can close the deal. The interesting thing is, when I was thinking of building this out and like envisioning my calendar getting full of meetings from event organizers, from decision makers, from people that could potentially pay me tens of thousands of dollars, like, whew, the imposter syndrome was real. Like the pressure that I felt inside was real. And it becomes not this fear of failure anymore, but this fear of success. And like, am I actually ready to like start taking in all these leads? And if I do get booked to speak for $10,000, which has been one of my goals, like, can I actually show up and deliver that value? And one of the books that I'm reading, Speaker Way to Cash, one of the things that she said that I really, really love, I can't remember the author's name off the top of my head, but she says that your rate is not your value. Like you can never put a number on your value. You are invaluable. Okay. We cannot put a measure on that. So never equate your value to your rate, because then we're like, oh my gosh, am I worth $10,000? Right? No, I'm worth way more than $10,000. Like you could not pay me. Like that is how much I am worth. Okay. More than you can pay me. But my rate is $10,000. And that's a different thing. Right? So those two things, those two terms are not interchangeable. I loved that perspective of it. But it really got me thinking of like, man, if there were all these meetings on my calendar, am I really ready to ask for the money and to show up and do the $10,000 paid speaking engagement? Ultimately, yes. But of course, we have those moments where we're like, holy crap, like this is new. This is stretching me. This feels scary and exciting and terrifying all at the same time. And it really also got me thinking of like with coaching, I'm considering doing webinars as part of my strategy also, like potentially quarterly, where anytime I am ready to take on new clients, I'm going to do a free webinar and have the like call to action at the end of it to invite them into my coaching. And I have this opportunity to present a webinar for SCORE, which is this nonprofit, like a business support platform. And I've been putting it off because I haven't created the presentation for it. And I haven't created the presentation for it because part of me feels like this is still so new. Like, even if I do create a presentation, is it really going to be that good? Like, will I be good at what I'm doing? And every time I show up and support one of my clients, like I always walk away from it like, damn, I'm good at what I do. But again, this is still so new. So I've kept pushing it off, and I'm like, you know what? Once I'm done creating the presentation and it feels good, then I'll go ahead and book the webinar. And that is like almost exactly what I was giving myself a little pep talk about in the week prior. Because there are so many people that will say, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. But what are they actually doing? What are you actually doing to get ready? Are you waiting for the universe to magically make you ready? Or are you constantly putting yourself in places that force you to get ready? Right? And if you think about it from the 9 to 5 job sense, this is what it really, really got me thinking about. In the 9 to 5 world, when you have bosses to accommodate and to listen to, they may say, hey, Crystal, can you make this presentation for the executives that are coming in a few weeks? And it's probably never a presentation that you've ever given. And you're like, oh my God, okay, sure, let me whip something up. And then you show up and you show the F out and you do an amazing job. We need to be able to do that for ourselves. We need to be able to put ourselves in these uncomfortable positions that force us to grow, because that is going to be how we improve. That is how we build our self-development, how we learn how to build confidence, how we learn how to show up even powerfully, how we learn to navigate our voice and our story and how we're communicating our message. We only learn how to do that and get better by doing. And we can only do if we set ourselves up to do, as opposed to making the excuses to not do, right? So yesterday I had that whole epiphany and I was like, you know what? F it. I know that if I book the webinar and I put it on my calendar, I will rise to the occasion and create a really amazing presentation and be ready to deliver it by that deadline. As opposed to waiting to see if I make time to create the presentation and then tweak it and then tweak it and then tweak it and then tweak it. And then months later, I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and do the webinar. No. And so I want you, all of you that are listening, to take a second to reflect. Are there those moments in your life where you're quote unquote waiting to be ready, but you're not actually doing anything to get ready? Anyways, I think that's it. I've been talking for almost an hour. You guys are amazing if you're still sticking around. I feel like that this whole episode just felt really good for me to just say it all out loud. So I'm so grateful for you all just listening and for being a part of this. And if you are getting a lot out of it, I've been loving your feedback, by the way. So for those of you that have been sending me DMs and sharing our podcast, thank you. Please keep doing that. But if this episode in particular resonated with anyone, be sure to share it. Take a screenshot, tag us on Instagram. I would love, love, love to repost. And you are amazing. So I'm going to keep learning all this AI. I'm going to let you know how that goes. And I'm excited for the future. So I will see you next week.